Hello, Shalligators. We are back and we are talking about Megan Fox and her breakup with Machine Gun Kelly. Lord have mercy. At the time of filming, here's what we know. Here's how the sequence of events went. She deleted all her photos of her fiance, MGK, on her Instagram. Then she posted, she started subtweeting with Beyonce lyrics. Oh, Megan. You're supposed to be above this. I mean, why not a Migos lyric when you're like in a thong on the beach? It's opposite end of the same spectrum. It's cringe. And then she posted a little video of what looked like a boyfriend bonfire, where you burn all their shit. Then she priorly had followed no one on Instagram and then starts following Timothy Chalamet, Eminem, who we know MGK has beef with, and somebody else. Who was it? Fuck, I can't remember. But it leads me to wonder if one of those dudes is MGK's enemy. Are the other two? Like, does he have a secret beef with Timothy Chalamet? Can you imagine both of them going at it? 180 pounds total weight, two men, just like elbows and knees and these spaghetti-armed haymakers. Just a slap fight and pulling out each other's earrings. So many tears. Then she goes and deletes her Instagram all together. Now there's reports coming out that she has her wedding ring off or her engagement ring off, that they had this huge fight at the Super Bowl. We're gonna break it down because there's rumors about like cheating, and if you're posting Beyonce and Lemonade lyrics, I mean, this is kind of motherfucking cheating. But here's what else I know as the time that I'm filming this, at the time of filming. I have no idea what the topic of this video is going to be. None. You'll probably, I'll figure it out and I'll put it in the title of the video, before I post it. But right now, no clue, because it's such a garbage fire. There's like an unlimited number of topics. So I'm going to read what you guys suggested on Instagram, because just the briefest glimpse, I'm like, they're so good. They're so good. We also know that my hair is not cooperating and there's really no point in trying, because at some point in this video, probably now, I'm going to be sharing a screen with a split image of Megan Fox. There's no real way you can win. So I'm just not even going to try. Goodbye. So we're going to get into this. We're going to talk about how to handle a breakup in public. Should you make it public? Because it's all fun and games when you're falling in love. It's all fun and games when you're tagging people and posting the gooey shots and then things go south. Everyone wants to do an engagement photo shoot. You ever seen a divorce photo shoot? Me neither. How do you handle something when you've gone all in on something real unlikely to work out? Or maybe you thought it was likely to work out, but it didn't. Is this huge I told you so moment? You have to take your lumps from the public? And listen, this is not a topic specific to celebrities. We all have a public. If you've ever heard Miranda Lambert's song, Famous in a Small Town, the chorus is everybody dies famous in a small town. Because it's small, everyone knows everyone, everyone's a celebrity in a small town because you know everyone's business. Now that I live in a small town, can confirm. I'm fine being internet famous. I don't know that I want to be Bozeman famous. It's actually a huge pain in the ass. How do you handle that? What should you do? Or let's unpack the idea of making your boyfriend's entire personality your personality. Because I feel like we're seeing that a lot with MGK and Megan Fox, and also Courtney and Travis. Like, who the hell is she now? She's just some weird rockabilly Minnie Mouse cosplay. She's a... Lord have mercy. I'm gonna go on that. How much shape-shifting into your partner is healthy? How much is too much? So we're gonna get into all of that and more. But before we do, speaking of love and breakups and humiliation, it's Valentine's Day tomorrow, isn't it? Isn't it? Yeah, it is. My Valentine's Day content is here for you to binge, Shalligators. We've got 5 new videos. We've got topics about how to deal with V-Day if you're newly single, which is different than being regular single. Very different. How to deal with the holiday if you literally hate it. If it just makes your skin crawl. How to get your boyfriend to not blow it. Should you be really blunt, drop hints, take a wait and see approach for how he handles the holiday? What do you say to a guy who's like, I think it's a stupid made up holiday? How do you react to a bad gift? And, because we're trying to be a little positive, how do you react to a good gift? How do you accept compliments with grace? I'm going to give you a little confidence pep talk on that. And we have one more on, gift giving when your budgets aren't the same. Maybe one of you makes more money. I'll tell you an easy go-to thing to ask a guy for that's going to cost him $0. And actually, the thing we all want underneath any gift, intentionality. Intentionality. I'll tell you how to get that across to a man and get your needs met in a way that neither of you are compromising or declaring bankruptcy. So go ahead and check that out. But if you want a little bit more Shallon content, you can get all of my Valentine's Day content for free, along with all of this year's Evil Week, along with all of our Alpha Academy sexy session hookup tutorials. I think there were like 12 or 13 of those videos, all for free when you join the Shallontrage. It's our internet community. You get all these Telegram chats with me. I just chit chat all day long with you guys, plus like 4 or 5 bonus videos a week for me, story times, house tours, all these good stuff. We do deeper dives. We kind of cut the celebrity part out of things. I mean, we still talk celebs a little, but it's more like the meat and potatoes of what we try to get out here. And it's a great community for you to make friends. All right, let's talk. Let's talk about Meghan. I don't know that any of us are surprised. Are any of us surprised? No. So apparently they got into this huge fiasco fight at Super Bowl weekend. And you know what? At this point, I must digress. Can we talk about the Super Bowl? So I want to talk about Rihanna's performance because there's a lot to unpack there in terms of the issues we talk about all the time, like women's issues. So I watched it and I was like, yeah. I think because I'd been watching the entire first half of the game and was so bored out of my mind, they could have put a sock puppet on stage. I'm like, fucking sock puppet. Like, I just would have been there for it. But afterwards, my mom texted me and she's like, ugh. Like, Rihanna's got such a beautiful, haunting voice, but that performance was a yawn. And I thought, she might be right. Now look, yes, Rihanna is pregnant with her second child. Yay! Babies or whatever. If you like babies, great. That's great. I can't imagine trying to sing at like this stadium, level with a human being inside of me. I can't do it on a plate of nachos. I mean, no. It would be very difficult. We're going to go through some points and counterpoints here. It would be very difficult to sing with a baby inside of you. Counterpoint, it's your job. And if you can't do it, you shouldn't do it. If you cannot give a performance commensurate with the standards of those performances, you shouldn't do it. You should say, you know what? Respectfully, I got to dip. Go hire J-Lo and Shakira. Because I kind of think like if you took her dancers away, and they were like incredible, if you took her dancers away, she was just kind of standing there. She wasn't doing much, and her lip sync was so bad. Like, it wasn't even, unless my TV had a lag, she wasn't even really, like, lined up with her lyrics. She would stop, like, halfway through a word, and I thought it was very interesting. At the end of her performance, she wasn't even breathing hard. Like, I'm breathing hard when I get done with these videos. I'm like, yeah, okay. She was fine. Maybe she has an insane lung capacity and that's why, and I'm like sort of a weakling. That's possible. But maybe she just kind of wasn't doing too much. I don't know. I want to know what you guys have to say about it because I think there's, like I said, a lot to unpack. On one hand, amazing representation. Like, pregnant women can like do it all. Can they? There's no shame in being like, listen, I'm growing a human inside me as we speak. Just its teeth and the nails, it's all disgusting. It's all happening. I cannot do XYZ. I get that. But I think there's a lot of women in the world who are pregnant and ain't nobody giving them a free pass. They're still on their feet waitressing. They're still on their feet caring for their other kids. Like, no one's like in their corner, like, she's a warrior, shut up. Like, no one's giving them a helping hand. And so on one hand, I think we hold pop stars to a lower and yet higher standard all at the same time. Like, they have to be these perfect, insane, mythological creatures with the snapback body and all of this. But on the other, it's like, hey, she's just trying her best. Is that good enough? Would you tell like some chick working at a truck stop, like, it's okay, she's trying her best? Or if her best isn't good enough, what is her guarantee for continued employment? Who's standing up for her? Where are her stands? Personally, I thought the show it would have been great if it was like a Grammy performance. I'd be like, oh, cool, like amazing dancers, sure. For a Super Bowl halftime, like it's just such a spectacle. Like Beyonce's in 2016, J-Lo and Shakira last year was like unbelievable. I've seen J-Lo live in concert. That bitch is running her ass all across the stage. She's singing, and she's not like an amazing vocalist, but she is singing live when I've seen her, like you can tell. And I mean, she puts on a hell of a show. She really does. Say whatever you want about her. She brings the heat. Same with Shakira. And Rihanna, I'm just like, if either you're not into it, you shouldn't be doing it. If you physically can't do it, you shouldn't be doing it. And if you don't care, I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, What do you think about that? Okay, enough. Let's talk about MGK and Megan. Sweet Jesus. I don't think anyone is surprised it went this way, right? They're crazy as a sack of weasels. And we talked just the other day about something called limerence, right? It's that obsessive, I can't breathe, I need you, that crazy in love feeling. And keyword, crazy. I don't know if you've ever experienced it. I have. And the man I was limerent over was not a man. He was a drug. I've never done meth. I've never done heroin. I've done him. It was a drug. It was the exact same chemical reaction in my mind. And we talked about the actual chemical reactions that happen when you're in a limerent state. And it's the Pam and Tommy video, because that seemed to be, right? Their whole vibe is like, crazy in love. And I think MGK and Megan definitely, I mean, they dressed as those people for Halloween, for crying out loud. That seems to be their whole thing, like twin flames, drinking each other's blood. Blah. How long can something like that last? Well, in our last video, scientists have narrowed it down. They said it can last, it's usually 6 months. And then the limerence, flames burn out. There is no eternal flame. But you can try to make it last longer by up to 2 years by doing things like not actually doing this information dump like we are all wont to do when we're in love with someone or we're just on first dates and we're like, here's my whole life story. You got to be judicious. You have to keep feeding people surprises about yourself, right? Because discovery and novelty is at the foundation of limerence. And we are more susceptible to limerence when maybe things are kind of dull, or we're in a bad emotional place and we're looking for some sort of way out. Now, we could break down MGK and Megan's thing. It's like, what were their ways out? Like, what did they both need? Well, he might have been tired of fucking groupies. He'd adjusted to fame. He'd been famous for a little while. It's like, all right. She, I think, was tired of being a wife. She got divorced. She has 3 kids. Her career is, what was her career before she became half of her and MGK? She laid really low. Not because I don't think she's talented. I think she's beautiful. I love her. She's like sassy. Did I say this already? Crazy. But like she's cool. But she had a big boom with him, right? Like they both are household names now. And I don't think before, him, I don't know. Just they're stronger together, right? And so there's a lot of limerence there. But as we see, it flames out. And if we look back at their relationship, honestly, for the last year, because they've been together since 2020 and they got engaged last year, there have been a lot of signs that she's like, ugh. Even the last thing she posted about him after the Grammys, I was like, oh, if someone said that about me, I would be not happy. I guess he lost his Grammy, whatever he was nominated for. And their whole red carpet interview was awkward. He wouldn't bring her over. She wouldn't talk. It was weird. But she posted this whole long caption like, you're a beautiful boy. Show your beautiful face, your beautiful boy. And she said something like, even though like you didn't win, and I saw a grace and maturity from you that I hadn't seen before. Is that a compliment? What the fuck is that? Can you imagine if your friend was like, you look so nice and I've never seen you look nice? Fuck you, Caitlyn. Like that to me is not something, that might be how she feels. Is that something that needs to be on social media to 28 million people? I would say no. You could say that to someone in private. Be like, hey, I've seen you come a long way. You didn't used to handle loss as well. Does it need to be out there? It felt very passive aggressive to me. It was okay. So who knows where the beginning of the end started for them? Perhaps it started the day that they met. Perhaps this was such a bright flame. It's like it was always doomed and dimming no matter what. But I want to know what some of you guys have to say about this, because you guys always have the best. Okay. Two of my besties. Shelby, how to console your friend when you knew her boyfriend sucked. You know what I love? You know what I love to say? I told you so. I love it. You know why? Because I'm a douchebag. Okay? I'm an absolute asshole. I love to say it. I say it to you guys all the time here. I told you so. I called it. I've learned through considerable trial and error in my own life, not helpful, not kind, not productive when you say it to someone in your life. Now, we know this. Like, we know this. And yet, when we are presented with, if we're Megan Fox's friend and she's like, it's like he's crazy. And we're just like, we're like vibrating to say that. Goes back to what we say. You could be right or you could be happy. You could be right and you could be like, I fucking told you so, Megan. I mean, you could really turn the screw. Or you could be happy. And in this context, happy is like, well, what do you want? Do you want to not ever have to witness this limerence ridiculousness with a skinny, gangly, scarecrow white rapper again because you want your friend to make better choices? Then the I told you so, not especially helpful. It's not going to actually get you to that goal. It's going to feel real good in this moment, but what's it going to do going forward? It's going to alienate your friend. She's going to feel much worse. And someday, when you are in an I told you so situation, because we are not about that ourselves, not at all, and she's going to turn around and be like, you know what I have to say about this, Jen? Like, she's going to come back for you and you're going to feel awful and then the friendship is going to fracture. Right versus happy. What's the win there? What's the win there? I told you so. Girl, she knows. She knows. She knows. It's not a helpful thing to say. What I say is, what's the takeaway here? Like, what can we learn? Do you think there were any red flags you were ignoring? Never mind the fact that everyone saw the red flags, that you perhaps did a PowerPoint presentation of what those flags were, and she didn't listen. Doesn't even need to be said. Doesn't even need to be said. My other friend, Vanessa, hi boo. Shelby and Vanessa, both at the same time. How to redeem yourself after you dug your heels in over a walking red flag. So this is the same, different sides of the same coin, right? It's the I told you so coin. We've all done this. We have all done this. It's something called confirmation bias. And we've talked about this in videos about Kanye and Kim. That like the more insane and demented he got, she'd just be like, he's my husband, like I'm supporting him, blah, 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 blah. And we're like, what is going on here? And it's a psychological phenomenon. And they study it a lot in terms of politics, where they will take like a staunch Democrat or something, and it'll be like, here's a video of Joe Biden melting down and talking about toasters and frogs, and he's not making any goddamn sense. Well, you know what? He's just... He has his own way of communicating and he's just so intelligent. Sometimes you just can't understand him. There's this, it's a doubling down. And conservatives do it too. This is not a Democrat, not a Democrat only thing. Everybody does it. Everybody does it. Because it's sunk cost bias is what it is. We see that in terms of people who get conned by a con man. I already put in $10,000. Like, I put in so much, I can't go back now. I'm going to give him another $10,000. And we especially see that with dating. I've been with him for 6 years. If I leave now, I'm just starting over. And us on the outside, we're like, cut your goddamn losses. It's okay to be like, I was wrong. I got conned. I got cheated on. I voted for the wrong person. It's okay, but we are like, no, we just entrench in our position. Do you know why? We're risk machines. We talk about this a lot. Human beings. We're risk assessors. Risk. We didn't get to the top of the food chain by being stupid. Well, now it's the tipping point. Obviously, it's occurred. We're complete idiots. But priorly, we were constantly assessing risk. And if we were constantly reevaluating our decisions on big things, who I love, where I work, what I spend my money on, who I voted for, like my core beliefs, you know, my religion, if we were constantly in a state of like reevaluation, we would collapse. Like we couldn't get anything done. We wouldn't be able to feed ourselves or work or produce anything. It'd be like, do I still love you? Do I still love you? We would just short circuit out. So we have to make that decision once, and then our subconscious will come up with data to fund that idea. It's a risk thing. So what you can do if you're dealing with someone in that situation, the Megan Fox, or if you are the Megan Fox, look at this from a risk point of view. Try to flip it. If you're trying to talk a friend out of an MGK situation, phrase it as risky. This seems really risky. He has cheated on every girl he's dated or whatever. Like, he hasn't held a job for more than 6 months. He's a white rapper. How can you increase risk? Same if you're in the Meghan. How can you view this situation as high risk? Now look though, that tactic in and of itself is a risk because it could backfire. It could backfire completely. And it could dig you deeper. It could dig that person deeper into the confirmation bias. Because it's like, no. I cannot accept that this person might be a risky bet. I cannot accept that the last 3 years of my life was a risk that did not pay off. Okay, what can we do now? Some theories are you take the exact opposite approach. You spin this person as very, very safe. This also feels risky, I know. But if you can spin this as very safe, someone doesn't feel so like, this is the hill I'm gonna die on. It's like, oh yeah, no, he's an amazing guy, Meghan. Like, he's a great dad and he's a white rapper. I mean, they're like unicorns. How many of them are there? It's almost like not a lot of them exist because it's weird. I don't know. He's a great guy, you know? Like, really think about making it work. Because now the person doesn't have anything to prove. And so now they might be like, huh. Yeah, he's a white rapper, but okay. Reverse psychology. That could work as well. It's tricky business. Try going down one path, whether you're trying to talk someone out of it or whether you are the Meghan. Try in your own mind, like what sits better? Like, this person was always super high risk. I maybe couldn't see it and I don't organically feel it now, but I'm just going to try to view them like that. And look, if you're in the Meghan position and you're sitting down at brunch with your friends and they're like, how are things with MGK? And it's the I told you so crew. It's the Greek chorus, oh, I told you so crew in the background. You know what you can say? You lean in. I'm a big leaner inner. I am. I'm like, all right, say it. Say you fucking told me so, because you guys did. You told me so. I guarantee you not one of your friends is going to rub it in. They're just not, dude. And if they do, fuck them. Who the fuck are you people? Because again, that shoe is going to be on the other foot sooner rather than later. And you don't need someone in your life who is like there to salt your wounds. You need people who are an emotional safe place to fall. But first you got to take an L and own up to your thing. Be like, you guys did try to tell me. You did. And I'm not even saying right now where I sit, I 100% believe everything you were trying to sell me on. I'm not going to lie. I don't. Like, I still love him. I miss him. But I can acknowledge XYZ. He was a risky person. He's not especially faithful. He is a bad commuter, like you said. Because no real friend is going to be like, well, fuck you then, Meghan. Like, they're just, and again, if they do, that's not your friend. And I'm sorry you have to clean house in such a big way, romantically and friendship-wise. But I would always rather root out a fake than keep them around and think I have people in my corner who aren't, because you can't trust their advice. Let's see what else you guys have to say. How to handle a big breakup, like when you told everyone it was forever. I know. I mean, there are so many different layers to a heartbreak and a breakup. There's the obvious one, like, I lost them. They're gone. My baby is gone. And then it's, my future is gone. At first, it's the person. Then it's the possibility, right? It's the 3 Ps. All the possibilities, all the things you were going to do. And then it's the pride. It's the pride. Because you're in this like car crash emotion state, and then you realize how many people you told. You told your friends. All right, that's the inner circle. Then you told maybe the secondary circle. Oh, your group chat from college. Then you told your trainer and your dentist and the guy at the deli. You told your mom and all of her friends at their pickleball meetup because you were there, and you told everybody. And you're like, I am so embarrassed. I understand this. I completely understand this. One of my best friends here, we're always like, we're not telling anybody about anything until like it is super legit, which is why I'm usually pretty private about my personal life. Like, you know, I post like very few people on Instagram. You can see some, but it's It's the tip of the iceberg because but even then, like it doesn't matter if it's not being blasted to millions of people. It's just as painful within your own life to be like, especially if it's somebody you don't talk to that much. And like 2 weeks later, they're like, oh my God, how's your boyfriend? And you're like, and it's just the grief starts all over again. You're reliving it. It's so fresh. And I can't imagine what it's like for celebrities. I mean, in some ways, maybe it's easier. They can just issue like a press release and then it's done versus having to like text everyone they know like, hey, just FYI, please don't ask me about MGK because we broke up because he cheated on me. Okay? Just, I don't even want to get into it, but it is really bad. It's awful. It's awful. I think the thing to remember is like, I don't know that other people are looking at you and be like, you should be embarrassed. Even though that's how we all feel when we break up with someone, when they ghost, when they cheat on us. Because we're like throwing a ticker tape. We're the best PR hype man for the people we love ever. And then we have to face this reality that like, this person was not who I thought they were. Okay. And worse is when other people like knew that. It's all bad. It's all bad. But again, like, I don't know, when you have a friend, because maybe you're not this person. I've been the person. It's like, it's forever. It is not forever. If you know someone who's like me, like Megan Fox, are you like, she should be literally so embarrassed? I don't think Megan Fox should be embarrassed. I think she should be in a lot of therapy, but I don't think she should be like embarrassed about falling in love with this kid. It's not like they got engaged 2 days after they knew each other. I think maybe like she loved him in the way she loves people. I mean, that's just how she is. She's just intense and crazy. And okay, I wouldn't date her. Of course I would, but you know what I mean? Like that dynamic is not what I think is healthy, but like that's her. So I think you should be embarrassed when you're being really fake. But that brings me to our next question. What if you were being fake? Because one of you guys said it right, like why it's a bad idea to morph into your boyfriend when you date him, to just blob, shapeshift into whoever he is. And again, we saw currently this with Kourtney and Travis. Even her sisters, remember they did that, what was it, like a Vanity Fair lie detector, and Kourtney asked, I think it was Chloe who was hooked up to the machine, like, do you think I have a totally different style now that I'm with Travis? And she's like, yeah. Like, yeah. Like, she's totally different. It's like punky leather, true romance, even though you're obsessed with that movie with you and your ex-wife. We're just going to like pretend you like only discovered it with me. Just, it's tricky business because I think one of the great things about dating someone is that shapeshift, but not a total shift. It's more like you're a steak. You're a wonderful ribeye or a Wagyu. Like you are the main course. And dating people is like changing the sides or the kind of butter. Is it truffle butter? Is it an au poivre? Is it a hollandaise? What kind of sauce comes on the steak? That to me is what it's like. Like I am still, the bulk of it is me. But these other elements, yeah, maybe if I'm dating someone super Western, I'm going to start riding horses and going to rodeos or if I'm dating someone who's like really into hockey, like, fuck yeah, let's really get into hockey. I don't know. I think that that's like cool. That's sort of the point of dating, is meeting different people and trying different things and stepping outside of your exact precise zone. And one thing I've complained about on the Shallon Entourage, if you're in it, you know, is the guys in Montana want to date them 2.0, more like 1.0. They want to date a copy paste version of themselves with a different sexual port. That's it. Like I see guys who are like, I want a girl who can hunt and fish and work on cars with me and chop wood. I'm not kidding you. Like this is what's on their Bumble. Like they want to date a man. There's a lot to unpack there, but like, I think it takes a strong person to say, no, I would like to date someone who's a little different than me. I want to learn. I want to grow. Now, of course, this can be a slippery slope. And we see a lot of people who just morph into their partner. And let's be honest, it's women morphing into men. It ain't men morphing into women. No guy's like, well, I started dating Cheryl and I love Lisa Vanderpump now. And Erica Jane, Pat the Puss. It's not, that's not the way it goes, okay? It's the girl who's suddenly going to Michigan football games. You didn't even go to Michigan. Like this, but you know what? For some people, that's very fun and comforting. Like, that's interesting. Like, yeah, they didn't go to Michigan and they never went to a football game. So, like, thank you for introducing me to this whole new world. Who cares if it's your world? I'm happy to inhabit it with you. But we know, again, the slippery slope, that if we're not a steak, if we're an empty plate, those sides better come quick. And you're not too picky about what they are, because that's all you have to eat. Without those sides, you're empty. There's nothing there. We have to be that steak. We got to be meaty. We got to be meaty women. So we have to have hobbies of our own, interests of our own. And truly, like, that's kind of something I'm struggling with lately. Like, it's funny. In New York, no one asks you what your hobbies are. You're not expected to have any. Your hobby is not murdering someone at a Dunkin' Donuts because they're moving too slow. Like, your hobby is like making your bonus. Your hobby is surviving Trader Joe's in Brooklyn on a Sunday afternoon. That's a hobby. It's a sport, as a matter of fact. It's a blood sport. It's like a Thunderdome in there. Out here, though, and any place where there's an actual work-life balance, where people care about the quality of their life, who knew? Oh, it's people, guys are like, so what are your hobbies? And I sometimes just have to lie. I'm like, oh, I ride a lot of horses. I do a lot of barrel racing. I can ride horses. I have barrel raced. I would not say that I do it, you know? And that works against me. You know? I'm not meaty enough. I'm meaty in like all the wrong ways. I don't know. Like I am inordinately focused on my career, whereas people out here, so many people don't have careers. They have jobs, but it's not like a career. And I define the difference. It's like you want to advance and there's a capability to advance. I mean, sure, you could advance at Cinnamon at the airport, but I don't know that you care to. It's a job. This isn't like, you're not invested in it. It doesn't like hit something deep inside you where you're like, this fills me up. My career does. And so I'm not great at pretty much most things. Ooh. When you act like a baby to get your man's attention when your emotional needs are not met. Ooh, Michael, you dragged us to hell. Yeah. I know. I mean, we could do a whole video on why are you subtweeting? First of all, let me tell you what you should post after a breakup. And if you want a deeper dive on this, download my course, How to Get Him Back, the 5-step man manipulation master plan. There's a whole chapter on this, like what to post and what not to post. Here's the TLDR. I'm just going to give you this for free. Nothing. People should be able to look at your Instagram. Nothing. They don't know. I got divorced and people didn't know. I kept it all to myself, all private. Not like I wasn't talking about it or feeling it or processing it. I just was not doing it in a public forum. I was doing it with my actual people, my inner circle. You guys are my people. You know what I'm talking about. And when the time was right, I was talking about it. But I wasn't like, lemonade. Like, I wasn't Megan Foxing and following this person and deleting and scorched earth. You are trying to get attention. And then these people are always like, we need privacy. I don't know, dude. Do you? Is that really what you want? It's like you're wearing neon camouflage. Pick a lane. You want to be seen or not? You started this. But again, there's so much humiliation. It's like, yeah, I did start this. I know that I started this because I wouldn't shut up about this guy. Posted him everywhere. And I don't know how to put the genie back in the bottle. So here's something you could do if you're a regular person. Celebrities, obviously, they have PR and press releases, blah, blah, blah. You could issue your own sort of press release. Hey, Garrett and I actually broke up. Post on your stories. Be like, that's why you might not see him. I'm super sad about it, but I'll be fine in a week. Have a nice weekend. I don't know, is that crazy? I think it might be better than the constant trickling in of, so how's Garrett? Oh my gosh, what, you guys broke up? Why haven't I seen him on the grid? Maybe it's better to just put it out there. Act like you're a celebrity. Like, it's over. I don't really want to talk about it. I don't know. I think that that's measurably more mature than subtweeting, which is so cringy. And if you find yourself doing that, because on some level you are trying to get their attention, I mean, clearly you're doing this for attention, Pull back and ask yourself, what do I really need? Why won't the car start? Why won't the car start? We talked about this in our last video on how to get out of a rut. What's going on? What do I need from this person? Because it's never about what you say it's about. No fight is about what we say it's about. It's usually 90% of the time about, I need to be heard. I need my feelings to be validated. I need you to tell me that you care about how I'm feeling, about how maybe you made me feel. And I need for us to find a way out of this together. And we will dress that up in a million different things. But what if you could just say that? What if instead of subtweeting or wiling out or playing all these games to get someone's attention, what if you could say that to your partner before it got this bad? It's not easy. It's how to ruin your reputation through desperation to stay in the spotlight. I think this one's good. How to stop over romanticizing and live in the reality of your relationship, aka what to do when limerence ends. We talked about this. You know, no matter how much chemistry you have with someone, chemistry isn't compatibility, because at some point you gotta stop fucking, you gotta start talking. You have to just settle into the day-to-day of a relationship. Now, some people take this too far and they go straight to like the period sweatpants and like burping in front of each other stage real quick. They actually aren't interested in the limerence phase. I don't know why, because I love it. But they feel very comfortable in that sort of like slobby phase. For other people, it's the opposite. It's like, I need to stay in first date mode for 3 years because I can't handle the boredom. Boredom historically has been my number one enemy. Like I've talked about it in therapy. Boredom to me feels like death. I'd rather be dead than bored. And so I will create a whole bunch of little problems for myself. I love to tie a knot for the satisfaction of untying them. And if I can't untie it, that's fine. I'll fashion it into a noose and I'll hang myself with misery. Isn't that how it feels? Part of it is maturity. I mean, it really is. Like, I was like that for so many years in New York City. And I don't know which came first, the music or the misery. I don't know if the fear of boredom came first and it fueled my need to stay in New York, or if the city, with all of its frenetic energy, was making it impossible for me to live a quiet, normal life. But I do know that once I left the city, now that I live in Montana, I live in a big suburban house. I drive a big suburban, I drive a Tahoe. I find myself ready for a normal, boring relationship. It sounds nice, not boring, but I'm leaning into that word because I've been so afraid of it historically. Boring doesn't have to be like we're just staring at each other. And in the past, my stable relationships, that's exactly what it was. We have nothing to talk about and we don't even really want to have sex anymore. So what are we doing here? It's real easy to feel real trapped real fast. So maybe look at your life. If you're in this constant, I need limerence after limerence after limerence. What's going on in your life? Are you trapped in a boring dead end job and this is like your only is this your getaway car? Are you trapped in a boring marriage and your limerent objects are these side chick dudes, you know? Are you trapped in a body that isn't really serving you because you're not serving it? And so you need somebody, something to latch onto to imbue you with that confidence that you maybe should be getting yourself, because otherwise you're all side dish, you're no meat. What is it? Be really honest with yourself. How can you deduce this? I want you to sit and I want you, when you picture your limerent object, your MGK, what is no longer present in your life? What feeling? What logistical circumstance? What's different? What has evaporated with his love? What has he come in and wiped off the slate? What is it? My ultimate limerent object? I met him after I was divorced. And I realize, I think I was semi-aware of it at the time, but I wasn't strong enough to look it in the face, and I didn't want to stop, because finally I felt something other than only pain. I felt plenty of pain when we weren't texting or we were in a fight, but the highs were so high, it's like, well, at least I have the highs. For the past few years, I've only had a lot of lows. And so I'm ready for some highs. Even if they come with lows, I don't fucking care. This is still an upgrade to me. This is a net win. But what he embodied, what the promise of that getaway car was, is my life has started over. He was super young. And I thought, this is not what I thought consciously. This is what my subconscious was thinking. If I can make it work with him, boop, it's the great reset. I too am 24 again. And that was very powerful for me. I was divorced. I felt washed up, pathetic. I don't feel what doesn't kill me made me stronger. It didn't make me stronger at all. Not at the time. That's not how I felt. I felt riddled with emotional bullet holes. I just felt like a shell of myself. And I thought, this man is going to put me back together with the promise of this youthful reinvigoration. Now look at the age difference between Megan and MGK. She's a divorced mom of 3. I don't care how hot you are, that's tough. Because it's what society tells you. I mean, this was the big indictment of her when her and MGK were dating. It's like, where are her kids? Bitch, where are yours? Her kids are A-okay. Are yours? Let her alone. Let her go out and get dick down. She's been taking care of kids for the last decade. Like, she's fine. So, like, that is foisted on her, one of the hottest women in the world. It's natural. She would want MGK to, like, reinvigorate. Her youth is starting over again. Her tits are brand new. She's got a facelift. It's all good. It's very powerful. So, okay. We're in the weeds a little bit. I'm sorry. How do you just be? How do you settle into that normalcy? Okay, like I said, you go back to that fantasy of what is this man supposed to save me from? How can I save myself? Maybe I need to apply for some jobs. Maybe I need to get to the gym. Maybe I need to go to therapy to deal with my sister. Maybe it's not fair to put on this man such an agenda. Even if he wants to save you, I'm going to save you. He can't. That's actually not his job. And he's not equipped for it. It's like a toddler being like, I'm a fireman. No, you're not, Braxton. Sit down. You're not sending that toddler into a burning building. That's cute. You want to. It's not effective. So we can't offload that onto other people. And when we expect to, when we tell them tacitly or overtly, through being like pissed at them that the limerence is gone. It's like, oh, what are you just sitting there eating crackers like you own the place? When we do that, it's because we're not taking the mantle ourselves. We're not doing the work ourselves. And when they fail to be this driving, incredible force of passion and confidence and distraction in our lives, we are so resentful. Why are you here? What are you doing? You're not serving me enough. How dare you sit there and have your own needs? How dare you not constantly be trying to save me? He's like, I literally just brought home sushi. I'm so sorry. So we got to do that ourselves. Because then you know what they just get to be? They just get to be your boyfriend. The way we look at relationships with men, and remember when I got teary-eyed the other day and I was like, can you imagine if we just got to be the girl? We didn't have to be the mom, the addiction specialist, the emotional parole officer, the cheating liaison. Like, imagine if we just got to be the girl, man. How's your day? Not like there's no depth, but depth is different than an agenda, than a savior. It's different than a getaway car. A nice drive through the country is not the same as a getaway car out of a bank robbery. Not the same. You want something that's that easy and that steady, and you get there by giving yourself as many of those side dishes as you possibly can. Have you ever gone to a steakhouse where you order the steak, but you have to order all the sides? Have you ever been like, there's too many sides, this is bullshit? No. You're like, yes, we have the cream spinach, the mac and cheese, the truffle mashed potatoes, the this, the that. Never too many sides. We're taking them all home. It's a great thing. It's a great thing. So think about your life in the same way. How can you create all your little side dishes as much as possible? And I know what you're thinking. Well, Shallon, that's not me doing less in a relationship. That's me doing more in a relationship. No, it's you doing more in your life, which is your job, not his. Those side dishes got to get made. Why are they all completely up to him? Do you like it when you have this huge agenda attached to you in a relationship? You got to keep me sober. You have to keep me from cheating. You need to get me through law school. Go fuck yourself, Danny. You got your own life to worry about. You got your own life to worry about. There's nothing that creates so much more resentment than expectations. And of course we're going to have expectations. Not saying you shouldn't have any. But is your expectation, I am offloading everything I need to be doing onto him? Well, fuck you. If you won't take care of your life, suddenly that's his job? Vice versa. Does that sound nice to you? Well, yeah, I take care of him. Well, you don't have to. Like, sorry, stop being a martyr. Get down off the cross. We need the wood. That is actually not your job. That's your job to mother a child, maybe like that. I don't know. Is it? I have no idea. But that's definitely not a role in a relationship. Like, I have to save him. I have to do all these things. Like, God damn it, he's going to do it for me. You're being a martyr and you're being a victim. You're also being really annoying. Like, nobody wants to go to brunch with you. That's so exhausting to be around. We know people like that. It's like, Kitty, no one's asking you to do these things. God. But you are doing it because you need someone to give this to you. Why don't you use your precious energy to just do you? And then whatever gaps are left, yes, he can fill those in. Amazing. Thank you. Now you're appreciative. You're not like, well, what's next? I need more. Because you are used to taking care of yourself in a healthy way. In a healthy way. And so the spaces in your life, you're like, I cannot, nay, will not learn to change my oil. No. You have no problem accepting help, and he has no problem helping you because the expectations are more manageable and they're more reasonable. And therefore, you're more delighted when he meets them. Change my oil? Such a rugged man. I want to touch back to humiliation, how not to humiliate yourself in love. Literally, sometimes we just have to learn the hard way. Like, I am not going to tell people about someone until the invites for the wedding go out. It's like, wait, who are you dating? You're getting married? Yes. Like, I really think it's better sometimes to just keep things a little close to your vest. Have your little cadre of people that you tell and tell them. Say to your friends, like, listen, I'm only telling us four, but I'm so in love. And say, like, I need permission to be like, so cringe about this and so over the top because I trust you guys. Because listen, God forbid things go wrong. I don't have it in me to talk to anybody but you guys because I know that you guys won't judge me. A small circle is oftentimes a lot better. I know, but like we said earlier in the video, if it's a little too late for that and you actually did tell the whole wide world, just remember that nobody really is looking at you with this like, and if they are, fuck them. Who the hell are those people? Like, literally, they're not your friends. They're clearly not your friends. Your friends wouldn't do that. They might be like, I tried to tell her, I hate watching her go through this. That is very different than like, it's completely different. It's a completely different vibe, motivated by completely different emotions. Okay? So if that is what you're getting from people, be like, get bent. What are you talking about? Flush those people out of your life. Flush those people out of your life. People who love you, they're not looking at you through that lens of she should be so embarrassed that she put herself out there and that she was like trusting. Oh my God. Ugh. And I am an avoidant attacher. So when I go through a breakup, humiliation is like the top emotion that I feel. Top. I'm like, this is what you get. This is what you get for opening up, for showing someone you like them. So I get it. And even I, the queen of avoidance, I don't look at other people who break up through that lens. It's like how you look at your body. I don't look at other people's body with the same scrutiny I look at my own. You know? So just realize that. Like, people aren't doing that. Let's go back to what Dr. Phil says. You ready for this? Ooh, I'm gonna drag you to hell. You wouldn't care so much what people thought about you if you knew how seldom they did. You wouldn't care so much what people thought about you if you knew how seldom they did. They're not thinking about you. Everyone's thinking about themselves. Everyone's thinking about themselves. All right, we'll wrap this up with one last thing. I feel like we've skipped all over, but I'm sorry. I'm looking at these in real time. You know, I do this off the cuff. When he became your identity and now it's over. Yeah. God forbid Travis and Courtney go belly up. MGK and Megan, like, what do you do when it's more than just I liked him so much and now I'm humiliated? What if it's like, do you know how many leather jackets I bought? Look at this dumb haircut. What if you made a big shift? Listen, I don't think it's bad. I'm a big leaner inner because I believe everything has a spin. It's like, think my background in journalism and watching publicists for celebrities spin anything and learning how to spin anything. Anything has a spin. You could be like, you know what? We're not together anymore, but I really never knew the glory of wearing leather jackets. I love them so much more than pea coats. So while he and I didn't make it, thanks for the leather. Or like, hey, I'm so glad he got me into skiing. Okay, it didn't work out. Like, that was a really cool thing to explore. Or maybe you're like, it's over. I never want to look at a ski or a mountain again, but it was fun. That was like fun while it lasted. And if you can't, if it feels like he took your whole identity with him, we're going to go back to the steak and the sides. How can you make yourself more meaty? Why was inhabiting his identity so enticing? Why did that feel so safe? Why did that feel so safe? Maybe it was, well, I don't think he would have liked me if I hadn't shapeshifted into him. I mean, do you think Travis Barker would have stayed with Kourtney Kardashian if she was dressing like Kim or Khloe? Like if she was, or Kylie? I don't know, because maybe that could be a bad example because he knew her this whole time. But I don't know. I think it's interesting that when they started dating, she was like, goodbye, attractive outfits. Like, hello, dumpy Doc Martens. Someone is lying to her. Someone is lying to her about her style. It is, I don't know. I don't think it's very flattering. Anyway, is part of the reason you shifted into this person because that was kind of the demand. That was kind of the demand. And again, like I experienced this here in Montana. I think that like if I don't demonstrate very quickly that I will be, oh yes, yeah, I too am a man. I also love to hunt elk. I love to change carburetors. I don't know what that is, but yes, fishing, of course. Who doesn't want to get a hook through the hand and then smell like fish all day? I love it. I get the sense that if I don't get on board real fucking fast, it's like, and you know what? Those men aren't for me. And if I get that, and I have to pay really close attention to it. It's like, hey, I know you suggested a hike for a first date. I don't really like to hike. I always roll my ankles. Can we just like grab a coffee? If they give me like shit about that, like, oh, like, don't you just want to get outdoors? Like, you know what, Jerry, I back away. But again, this is all Monday morning quarterbacking. What if this has already happened to you and you have shifted into someone and now they're gone and your identity is gone? The side dish, the meatiness. But you know, it's up to you whether or not you want to like keep some of that identity going or if you want to immediately revert back to who you were. There's no shame in anything. Again, you wouldn't care what people thought if you knew how seldom they did. Who cares? Like even Kourtney, if tomorrow she woke up and was dressing like Kylie, all right, who cares? Dude, it's an outfit. Change it or don't. I don't care. Like it's not a big deal. So do what works for you, what feels organic. Don't hang on to something just to prove a point. Don't throw everything out just to prove a point. Really look at the situation and be like, what do I want to keep out of this? Do I want to keep snowboarding? Do I want to keep leather jackets? Do I want to keep all of it? None of it? I don't know. But most importantly, when you pull back and you look at it, ask yourself how you got there. Do that emotional autopsy. If you don't know how, literally my course, 5 steps to get him back, down in the bio, it will walk you through how to do this. It will walk you through how to do this because you can't fix what you don't acknowledge, and you certainly can't insulate yourself from it happening again. Because I know that we know girls who do this. It's like they shift into whoever they're dating and they don't just do it once, they chronically do it. Because they don't want to pull back and examine what is missing. He's missing. No, girl. I mean, yeah, but no, we're a little deeper than that. You need to look and be like, why was it so enticing that I give up everything for this man? Why was it so enticing that I went ballistic on social media? That in and of itself is a getaway car. And you know, I would be lying if I said there wasn't a lot of satisfaction in posting a hot guy. Because there is, it just sticks the knife to somebody else. But it's like, see, I did it. All of my other heartbreaks, they added up to this. And that's great. If it's coming from a place of being genuinely happy and there's an element of like, fuck all you guys. All right, that's okay. But when it's over the top, when it's like, I have to keep doing this, why? Do you think people have always like doubted you? Is this revenge? Again, people don't care about you. They don't care. I got news for you. That's great. You're free. You're free of this. So yeah, pull back, evaluate, get real gritty, look at things. If If you want to prevent the I told you so's from your friends, flip all that sanctum out. They just know everything. Maybe they actually do know everything. Did you ever think of that? Maybe they do. And maybe what you recruit them to do, instead of being like, I told you so, Megan, is be like, why do you think this happened? Why do you think I let this happen? Or you don't even have to phrase it with such a, oh, this is my fault. Why do you think this relationship, why do you think I got into it? And why do you think it didn't work? They will have answers. They'll have notes in their phone. They will have threads with their other friends that you weren't included on because it was about you. They'll know. You want to flip that I told you so? That's how you do it. These people are memory keepers. And they say I told you so because they did and because they did know better. Learn from that wisdom. Lean into that. We should never be embarrassed about the way things go. We should only be embarrassed if we refuse to learn from it. Refuse. That's the only reason ever to feel embarrassed about anything in our lives. I want to know your thoughts on MGK and Megan. Are you guys liking the Valentine's coverage? Binge it right down in the link in the bio. Or like I said, join the Shallon Entourage, get it for free. Plus all of my Alpha Academy Sexy Session hookup tutorials. All of Eva Week this year. Plus we've got some new courses coming out that are going to be... We're launching one this week on how to find love on a dating app, because not to be whatever, but I am the profile whisperer. When I have made profiles for people, when I say 100% rate of return, I don't mean boyfriends, I mean husbands. I am good at this shit, and I'm passing along what I know so that we all may find love. Just a swipe of our fingers. All right, Shalligators, I'll see you later. Have a wonderful Valentine's Day. I love you guys.